Quantum computing is a computer that's built out of qubits, and it is an extraordinary, in layman terms, it's an extraordinarily powerful machine. It is a revolution. It is the game changer in many ways when you're talking about computer processing power. But it has limitations. A quantum computer can actually only run for about a minute. The more qubits you add to it, the more unstable it becomes. But it has the capability to resolve highly complex mathematical problems. I mean, we're talking as in the most complicated we can imagine. And you go, well, that's interesting, but how does that affect us? So I think the analogy is a mathematical problem that would take 100 professors 10 years, it can now be done in 2 minutes, which will have huge knock-on effects into our world, whether it's medical research, whether it is understanding the universe. There's so many things that we use maths, and maths is one of the bases of what we do, as a society. So having that processing, is extraordinary. That's on the more holistic, larger side. There is a byproduct to this with quantum computing, is that it will make our current encryption that we have on all our websites, on all our applications, and all our internal apps and external apps, and anything which is encrypted, which, believe it or not, is most things, it has the potential to negate all of it. Basically, it will have the password to everything. So that, as a security company, SecurityHQ, that is not necessarily a problem for us to solve, but it's something we need to be extremely aware of and start making steps towards that, right? To understand it. It sounds like a real movie, but within the quantum computing space, what the experts refer to as Q-Day. And Q-Day is the day where it becomes known that somebody's got the password to everything. Now, as we've seen within the IT space, how generative AI has accelerated over the last 6 to 9 months, and now we're all talking about AI and how that's going to impact all of us eventually. But it's already been used in a number of applications and on a day-to-day basis. We saw that acceleration in AI, because AI again has been around since the 90s, but very much in an infancy. But in the last 6 months, AI now has gone production. And we believe that quantum computing is about to take the step that's going to take it where people will get access to it, where it'll actually be in a functioning state. But the byproduct of that is that all known encryption will become negated, which is a huge statement for me as a cybersecurity guy to say. Whether that will happen in next month, but Q-Day, the experts are saying 2025. Today's 2024. So it's very close, and how that will be replicated across, we don't know. The signs, first of all, it'll be out in the press, especially within the tech press. Where we are with the race of quantum computers, there are some of the larger players. You mentioned IBM, Google, Microsoft. There are a bunch of others. There's a British company who's just received 100 million funding because they're close to building their quantum computer. So there's a number of players as well. But I cannot overstate that in China they're making huge gains on this. They've been investing billions, an average, we believe, of about $24 billion a year on quantum. And they are ahead of us in the race with respect to that. So there is a true arms race going on, and has been for quantum computing. The challenge we've had as an industry is that it's been too long a secret. It's been too long within the academia, because it's something that was talked about. Is it realistic? Is it happening? It was a lab project, but now it is happening. What are the signs? What I estimate is that the first people who will start being affected by it is your wallets and cryptocurrency, because that is an easy target. Because if you steal Bitcoin or Ethereum or whatever your poison is when it comes down to crypto, if you get a hold of those wallets that are all encrypted at the moment, well, you can technically make billions, and they're untraceable, and there's no police force. So I would watch the crypto wallets first. I would also note that a lot of the crypto wallets are now becoming quantum proof. They've changed the algorithms of the source code to make them quantum proof. So, and the iMessenger now is quantum proof. It's the first kind of known household product that's gone quantum proof or quantum safe or whatever the industry will end up saying it. But every organization will start using the term, is my application, is my website, is my gateway, is my payment gateway, is my external apps, is my email quantum proof? That will be the next challenge. It's right now, we are such at an early stage, it's more about education, internal education within our business, understanding on how we're going to support our clients. And it's not like SecurityHQ or any security company is going to have the answer, for the simple reason that we as a company, we use our own CRM systems, we use we use a bunch, like all organizations, a bunch of third-party software. So the third parties have to be quantum proof as well. So if your Microsoft is not quantum proof, right, and I would imagine they're making significant steps on this, then they're going to get a hold of it. Your password, and encryption is not just, they can crack the encryption, but that's what we call separated between a public key and a private key, and they are related together, and these quantum computers will very quickly, we're talking in milliseconds, work out your password. In milliseconds. So they'll have access to everything. They'll have access to everything until you start to get quantum proof. And all companies, all governments, are going to have to start getting real about it. It's as an individual, not really. It's more because as an individual, you're just relying on third-party applications. So the applications you use in your day-to-day life, whether it is your Instagram, whether it is your email, well, that's not down to you to security proof that as a source code reviewer. It's up to you to maintain your passwords and where you go and what you do with it, but actually the application don't belong to you. You're just a user, you're an end user. But for companies, I'll give an example such as ourselves, with the applications we build, the internal applications we build, the websites that we own, the source codes that we use, we will have to relook at those algorithms and start downloading algorithms, create test beds for them to start applying across our applications. The challenge is knowing, and this sounds easier said than done, but IT professionals out there will know, understanding where your data is, what databases are sitting, what it's sitting on, is easier said than done. We know that challenge within our own customer base. But we have time to start to understand where the data is, get a handling of this problem, educate yourselves around this problem, and try to do what a business case, a risk assessment, that's what I would generally start with. Anything in security I would look at as an impact, what would be the impact? This is a nuclear impact, right? If somebody gets your encryption and passcodes, there is no way around it, okay? I also remind people that a lot of us out there, including our company, have a duty of care around the data, third-party data that we have. And we're getting into a legal minefield with quantum computing. Because if all the passwords are opened up or you're hit, but you still legally have a duty of care to protect the data of your customers or your third parties, which affects a lot of businesses out there. And in the eyes of the law, ignorance is not an excuse. It never has been, never will be. There is a heap of information out there on this. I sound like I know what I'm talking about. I know a little bit, But what I learned was from YouTube. So my own study, my own research, understanding it. There's some great YouTube people out there explaining to what is quantum, what is the effects on it, of it, and the more, and very much I'm doing my part and doing this short video, is the conversation needs to be had about quantum computing. I don't necessarily feel though I've shown that as if the end of the world is nigh. I actually think the changes you need to make are not wholesale. You're changing certain parts of the algorithm. And if you had the right expertise and advice on it, it's not that difficult. But you can't go into it on day one. You really do need to look at it, get an understanding of it, start explaining maybe to your board of directors about potential impact on it, understanding what applications you use internally and externally, and remembering they can access both if they get through your encryption. Don't think just because it's an internal application, if it's sitting on your wherever it is that has the encryption behind it, they'll get through that, and just start making changes. Start making the changes that are required. Or maybe you start, if you're in the middle of a project and you're using a third party, you start talking to them about, is this quantum proof? Have you done a impact assessment on that?